was forced to resign from my first ministry position. It was a very hard time. My wife and I hadn't done anything wrong. In fact, we'd pointed out a place where the church was being dishonest, and because of that, we were told we needed to leave because we were going to get in the way of the capital campaign that the pastor was going to run so he could get his new building. And as I was being forced to resign, I was allowed one last meeting with the elder group. Now, this was an E-free denomination, so foot washing was not a thing they did, but the Lord really impressed on me that you need to go in there and act like Jesus. And when I said, okay, Lord, how would Jesus act? He said, Jesus would wash their feet. So I go into this elder meeting, and they are stripping us of all of our benefits and telling us we can't come back to services and all this. And it was a really rough time, and I just got down on the floor, and I asked the pastor if I could wash his feet. And he looked at me like I'd lost my mind. And I just started taking his shoes off. And I brought some water and some towels, and I sat there and I washed his feet, and I asked his forgiveness for everything I could possibly think of that I had done. And it was ugly. Like I was not in a good place. I'm kneeling on the floor. I've got 5 guys looking at me. They are not comfortable with this process either. And I'm kind of crying because I am really heartbroken over this, and I'm trying to do the right thing. And when I was done, he looked at me and the most despicable look in his eye, and he said, "Are you done?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm done." And I left. And I'm going to tell you, I think I run about 5'10". I felt 6'5" walking out of that room. It was the best day of ministry I'd ever had up to that point. I walked out of there knowing God is totally happy with me. I am completely walking in the Spirit. I did what my Father wanted me to do, and no one understands, but the only person that needs to understand it gets it, and I felt great. And it was, on one hand, yes, it was very humble and it was very low, and I guess it could be humiliating or embarrassing, but I'm going to tell you, I found spiritual empowerment. And no business negotiation manual tells you to walk into a room and to save your job by pulling people's socks off, okay? This doesn't follow conventional wisdom. It was something the Lord told me to do, and He got all the glory for it, but I was more empowered in the Spirit that day than I had ever been in my life up to that moment. Because the humble path is an empowered path. And many times we're trying to hold on to power and control with our pride, but if we will humble ourselves, God will do the work.